How y'all doing? I'm James, and welcome back to Storytime with James. Make sure you like, subscribe, and leave me a comment if you like. Alright, this one is called As the Wind Blows. Yes, yes, man, as the wind blows. You know, it was like in this was set back in 2020, you know, 2020. It was like around in April or May of 2020. Well, I was at work. I was at the job, and the job, they made an announcement that we wouldn't be working after that day, you know, because, you know, the mayor had issued uh, that we were going to be on curfew and stuff like that for the, you know, for the pandemic, you know. So after that day, I looked at the weather forecast, and it looked like it was going to storm that day. So I said, well, I was thinking about what I was going to do. Was I going to work? Because they gave us the option to work at a different location, you know. We had the option to go to a different location and work, be able to work. But I didn't want to do that. I said, man, I'm just going to lay low, you know, because I had a lot of money saved up, because I was going to do some shows, you know. I was going to do some painting shows and some masking tape treasures and all of that. So I was planning on that. But then the pandemic spoiled all of that. So I figured I'd take that money and I can sit back for a while, you know. It'd just be like a mini vacation, you know. So I was happy. So I went on home, you know. And it was nice out. It was nice outside. And I came inside, you know, came in the house, got to the house, pulled into the driveway, and looked up at the trees and stuff. And I had a real nice tree in my front yard. That was it was nice, you know. So I went inside the house, and my little dog ran up to me when I came in and stuff. And I fed him and everything. And I went to my bedroom, you know, and turned the television on for a minute. I wasn't watching television then, but I turned it on so I can be up on the news, you know, on the weather and stuff like that. So I turned it on, and right when I turned it on, all of a sudden, outside, the bottom dropped out of it. It just started coming down, raining. I was, oh my goodness, oh, it was coming down. Then the wind was blowing. And I looked out the window, and all the trees were blowing like this, you know. I didn't think nothing of it. I said, hey, I'm in the house. As long as I'm at the house, I made it home, you know. Then all of a sudden, I heard this loud boom. Crash, man. And then my lights went out. So I said, oh my goodness, I knew it was going to happen. So the lights were out. Excuse me, y'all. I said, the lights out, you know. So with the lights being out, my Wi-Fi box went off and everything. So I said, well, I won't have Wi-Fi. I'll just have to go off my data on my phone. But luckily, my phone had a hotspot, a Wi-Fi hotspot on there, so it wasn't nothing major, you know. So I tried. After the lights went out, I tried to look out my bedroom window, but for some reason I couldn't see out there. And I thought it was real dark outside because of the storm, you know. So then I went out the front door and looked, and my tree wasn't out there. So, and the tree had fell onto the roof. and the trunk was on my car. So I said, "Oh my goodness!" I said, "What am I gonna do?" So I couldn't get out the door. I couldn't get out because branches was all on the porch and everything like that. But it was raining so bad that I couldn't get out there to look at nothing. So I'm glad I didn't. So I went back in the house. I turned my lights on in the house. I had some battery powered lights. So I shut those on, and then I said forget it, you know. I just wait till the morning. Then maybe MLG and W will come out in the morning and turn the power back on, you know. So it wasn't nothing big to me, you know. So I set out to just sleep the night, you know. So I went. This is before I even came to the Philippines. So then I went to sleep. When I woke up in the morning, I went outside and noticed my tree was on my car, and the tree was on my roof too. And it had broke my the power, the weather head. The weather head was broke, and the mast was broke, and the meter was broke off. So I had a problem on my hands then. So I tried to climb through the trees to get over there to see how bad it was. Was the meter actually, the whole meter off the wall of the house? And I got through and I saw it. I saw the meter pulled off too. So I said, oh my goodness. And you know, MLG and W don't fix that. So if you got damage to something that's on your house, that they won't fix that. So I knew I had to fix it myself. But first I had to get that tree out of the way. So then I went to the bank to get some money out, and I was trying to figure out what I need, some saws and stuff like that. I had a chainsaw, but it wasn't that good. It was I started cutting on it and cutting on the branches. I cut some of the branches off, but that was it. And nobody in my neighborhood would help me. I don't know, man, but I got my nephew and a couple of his friends and stuff like that. They came over and we all together went to I went to Home Depot. To buy a saw. So I got a suitable saw. Then I rented a saw. So and we started cutting. Then when I was climbing through the trees, trying to cut some branches, all of a sudden, it was a big spark. Just all of a sudden, right where I was getting ready to step. And I looked down, and that wire was still live. Yes, it was still live. And electricity was coming out of it. So I couldn't mess with that. I had to call MLG and W, which is the power company out there in Memphis. I had to call them and tell them to come and turn the wire off. Okay, so after that, they came out and they said, yo, that wire is live, you know. And I said, man, I was about to step on it, man. I'm glad I didn't step over there. So after they cut that wire off, then I started to cut. So it took me 3 days to get all of that cut. 3 days, you know. But I was determined to get it done. So I worked from sun up to sundown, cutting that tree, you know. So when I got it, I had to move a lot of those out the way, you know. Then once I was able to bag my car out, the damage on my car was bad. It had broke my windshield, and everything like that, and smashed it down and stuff. So, but luckily, I think the house was holding up most of it, so it didn't come down on my car full force, but it was enough to bring the shocks down, press the shocks down real low, So I was able to start the car up and back it out. So this is crazy, man. After 3 days, man. So after 3 days, so after that, I backed the car up. I said, oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to pay to get another windshield and everything. So it was terrible, man. But I looked at the house. And the weather head had broke off of there, and then the whole pole, the mast, where the wires go through, that was broke off the wall and everything. So I had to find out where I can get those parts from, So, excuse me. So the weather head was still up there. So I had the weather head. So I said, well, I'm gonna start on this first. Then I'll start on the car, So I started on the mast first. I had to find a mast to get that was long enough to get up there. So I had to go to Home Depot and buy another mast. Okay, I bought another mast, and the first mast I bought, the weather head wouldn't fit on there. It wouldn't screw on there because I guess it was too wide. So I had to get a smaller. I forget. I forget. What was it? 3-inch or something like that. So I went back and got a 3-inch, and it was able to fit in there. So I got up on the roof and was up there, and man, it was crazy, man. Then I had to send the wires down through there, down through the mast. And once I got them down there through that, then I had to connect them back to the meter, Luckily, I know how to work on electrical stuff like that. So, but MLG&W requires you to have a licensed electrician before they'll do anything to it. So I hooked it all up, and then I called a licensed electrician. He came out, and I said, hey, look, I'll give you $40 just to say that you did this. But I want you to inspect it first to make sure it's all hooked up right, okay? So he checked it. He said, well, everything's hooked up right. So after that, when MLG&W came, he said, yeah, this is my work. I did this, So they signed off on everything, and then it was okay. Then I took my car over to the shop to get another windshield put in. So they put another windshield in, and it was cool. It was cool. So then I had to wait another day, another day. So another day before they cut the power on, because I don't know what was going on. I think the power was out on my whole block. So it's crazy, So we had to wait another day. So it was off a total of 5 days. 5 days. So then I went inside. Then I had to think of something to eat, because all my food had spoiled in the refrigerator, in the freezer, and stuff like that. But I had some barbecue meat. Some barbecue that I was able to salvage. So I went out, and then I fired up the grill and put that meat that I had on the grill and ate off of that, Me and Roman, my dog, we ate that right there, And then they cut the power on. So I was lucky, man. I was lucky. But since that, but I was about to cut that tree down, because that tree had got struck by lightning before, and it was a split in the tree, but it mended back together some way or another. But I was about to cut that tree, so I was like, man, I don't know this tree, because if it fall, it's gonna hit the roof and stuff like that. I was gonna cut it the next day, but God cut it. Yeah, God cut it. When the weather got like that, the tree was gone. So it's all for the best, but I had to suffer for a week. But these are things you go through when you got a home, you know. All right, you guys, make sure you like, subscribe, and leave me a comment if you like. And hit that bell notification. Hit that bell notification so that you know every time I drop another video. And share. Share my videos with your family. Share my videos with your friends. Share my videos with your loved ones. And even share it with your enemies. Peace. Adios. Salaam.